So let's start off with the very top with the Dallas Mavericks. Still unbelievable that they won this lottery and their prized possession, their, I guess, reward for all of the crap they had to deal with at the end of last season is they land Cooper Flagg with the number one overall pick, Ben. What are your thoughts now that the Mavericks were officially able to capture the flag and Cooper Flagg is now a Dallas Maverick?
Well, good for Nico Harrison for being smart and keeping the pick and actually drafting Cooper Flagg. Thank goodness for that. Dallas fans are a bit relieved now, I guess, after the Luka trade. Now that, I mean, hey, that they got lucky and they got Cooper Flagg too. Now that's kind of like their new face of the franchise going forward that they're going to build around. And I'm really excited about this for Dallas. I believe, he's going to be a superstar player in the NBA eventually as long as he stays healthy. And I think he's going to be able to make a big impact rookie year. I think he's I think he's like one of the more pro ready players I've seen in recent years. Like, what makes me kind of think about that is last year, um, he did, play up against, Team USA stars and like, the in like practices that he was a part of with the select team. It was looking good at times in those scrimmages, and he was just continuing to just be so good consistently at Duke, and I think Cooper Flag can already help look the Mavericks to even be pretty competitive in the West in his rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper Flagg goes to the perfect scenario here, really. Going on a team where, I mean, first for Nico Harrison, like you said, great that he kept the pick. Obviously, I don't think there really was much question that they wouldn't select Cooper Flagg with this pick because, back the 5.5 months ago when Luka Doncic was traded to the Lakers, Nico Harrison saying was, we believe that defense wins championships. And you get the feeling Cooper Flagg is like the perfect guy that Nico Harrison would want on that team and be the, one of the building blocks for that team going forward. But coming in, he's not even their best player. He's not even their second best player. The Mavericks look really, really good, really deep on both sides. This is a team that could very well be a championship contending team from day one, which is great for Flag coming in, on his first team, on his first season of his career, of course, with Anthony Davis there at the four and Kyrie Irving when he gets back from his ACL injury and recovery. I mean, the Mavericks are looking incredible now that they officially have Cooper Flag.
Yeah, I think the Mavericks, once they get Kyrie back, are gonna be a scary team. Like, that team is gonna be loaded with good depth next year. They're gonna have great front court height, multiple good defenders. I mean, it's starting to kind of remind me of how, like, the Thunder were built this year when they get fully healthy. And I think they're going to be a tough team to beat once they get fully healthy and even just all throughout the season, even before Kyrie comes back. Because, I mean, still, as long as guys stay healthy all throughout the year, they're going to have multiple good defenders and they're going to be tall in the front court. That's going to make things difficult on um opposing teams, their length and their overall height of guys on this team.
Yeah, the Mavericks definitely looking like they can be a scary team in the West next year. We talked about it after the Kevin Durant trade about how kind of after Oklahoma City being in a tier of their own at the top of the Western Conference, that next tier is kind of wide open. And if Cooper Flag is the real deal, and a lot of people are saying he could be a generational player and prospect, at the NBA level. If he is the real deal, and maybe it's not from day one, maybe it's not from year one, but if he is that type of player, Mavericks should be the second best team in the Western Conference, if he's going to be in there because Anthony Davis is still a really, really good basketball player. Of course, he got injured right when he got traded or right when he, started playing with the Mavs. And just like their whole team did, of course, Kyrie goes down. And so now that's going to be the big question. They already made some moves this offseason. Daniel Gafford signed a 3-year, $54 million extension to stay with the Dallas Mavericks. And then Kyrie Irving, who was on a player option for next year, he declined the $43 million option to re-sign with Dallas for a 3-year, $119 million deal with a player option on that third year. And something that's big with that contract is that it allows Dallas to have the taxpayer mid-level exception in free agency next week, about $5.7 million. And, Ben, obviously this team looks really, really good so far, especially in the front court, like you mentioned. But the thing that they're going to need to figure out this offseason is who's going to be the starting point guard while Kyrie Irving recovers because he got injured, in February, March, around then. So it's going to be a while until Irving is back, maybe not until January. So they're going to need to use their mid level exception to sign a point guard that can temporarily start for them at the start of the season.
Yeah, they definitely will. I don't really know who's gonna be like out there available totally for them, but I mean, I have heard rumors about them possibly getting Chris Paul to fill in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, especially with the point guard deal with the Spurs, who will be the next team we'll be talking about. So Chris Paul could be a good option, to fill in there. Or they could go younger. I just don't totally know who else would really be out there free agency. And Chris Paul was kind of the only name I was like hearing. I mean, I also did hear Drew Holiday before too, but now he's a Portland Trailblazers, so that's probably not going to happen now.
Yeah, I mean, here's the widespread top free agents by position that we'll get to later, of course, for our free agency preview. And of course, these are the top guys by position. And it's free agency because of the new CBA. It's not much of a huge deal. There aren't a huge lot of big names on the table. All the names that are in gold there on the screen for you guys watching on YouTube are the unrestricted free agents. Everyone else is either restricted or has a team option or player option. So the guys highlighted there are going to be the guys that are out there and available for other teams to sign and get. For Dallas, I think Chris Paul would be a good idea because obviously he would be an incredible guy to come in and help mentor Cooper Flagg along with Irving and Davis there as veterans on that team. And he's at the age where minutes aren't the craziest thing for him anyway. So once Kyrie Irving were to come back, Chris Paul can be the backup point guard and play, only 10, 15 minutes a game if he has to once Irving gets back. And Chris Paul is still a very, serviceable player. I mean, for San Antonio last year in his age 40 season, right? Or 39 season, played
Yeah,
all 82 games, still averaged 9.7 assists, shot well from three. Didn't turn the ball over that much. So he'd still be a serviceable option if he wanted to go to the Mavericks. I've been seeing some rumblings as well about D'Angelo Russell, who is probably not going to go back to the Brooklyn Nets. So that might be a spot for him as well as another scorer, ball handler out there for the Mavericks. There are other point guards, Tyus Jones, Malcolm Brogdon. So they have guys to choose from, and Dallas is definitely going to be a free agent destination for some of these point guards. But either way, I mean, they made again they were in a very tough situation at the second half of last year with all the injuries post Luca. But now they're on the upside, and I'm very excited to see what this Mavericks team will look like during the season. But Ben, I'm also curious to see what the fan reception is going to be across the board because when the Doncic trade happened, there were a good amount of Dallas fans that you could say rightfully so boycotted the team and, removed their fandom of the Dallas Mavericks because Nico Harrison just traded away Luca. Now that they have Cooper Flagg and they're looking like a pretty competitive team, Are they going to go back? Are we going to hear fire Nico chants during Cooper Flagg's NBA debut? What do you think could happen there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I don't totally know, but if I had to predict, I guess we won't be hearing any fire Nico chants. I think some fans are back on the board now with what at least I've seen online recently after they took Cooper Flag. Even, Dirk Nowitzki, he was mad at his own team that he was a legend of after they
Yeah.
traded Luca. And I did just see a video of Dirk congratulating Cooper Flagg for being the number one pick there. So I think Dirk's a bit back on board with what they're doing too, and I think uh fans are as well. I wonder how Mark Cuban's feeling about this too. Like, I mean, I'm sure he's still bummed about the Luca thing, but I guess he's got to be happy that they somehow got Cooper Flagg. I'm sure he knows how good Flagg is and how good he could be in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, what a roller coaster of emotions for that entire Dallas fan base, the franchise, for the fans, the players, across the board. But now they have Cooper Flag and they're set to be, a must watch team coming up next season.